Let's look at the tight ends to close out your positional rankings. No surprise at the top, Travis Kelce. This is clearly a position group that needs some revamping, needs a rehaul. I'll tell you what, though, Barry, the one that jumps out to me here on this list is absolutely Darren Waller at number 5. We know what he can do when healthy and maybe reinvigorated moving over to Brian Daboll's offense.
So think about this, the New York Giants, right? It was a great season for the Giants last year, and Daniel Jones played well, got rewarded with a big contract, and you're like, well, you know, they're going over to this high-powered passing attack. How's Waller going to get targets? You know who led the Giants in targets last year? Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley had 76 targets last year, which led New York. So they go out and they get somebody like Waller, who's really good at crossing routes, which is where Daniel Jones is the most comfortable throwing, is between the numbers there in the middle of the field. Waller obviously needs to stay healthy, a question, but like he is fourth in yards per route run since 2019. Darren Waller is, again, on a per-game basis. So, yeah, I mean, I do think there's a lot of opportunity there because, yes, while there are a lot of pass catchers in New York, there aren't a lot of guys. Like, who knows what you're going to get out of Sterling Shepard or Wan'Dale Robinson or, you know.
Injuries.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that's
a
theme with them.
Yeah, I mean, like, I thought the Jalen Hyatt pick was good, but, like, there is a very real possibility that Darren Waller leads this team in targets and that the passing offense goes through Darren Waller the way in Kansas City it goes through Travis Kelce, the way in Baltimore it goes through Mark Andrews, the way, you know, it potentially could go through TJ Hockenson in Minnesota, or the way it did go through Hockenson in Detroit. I mean, obviously Minnesota has Jefferson, but my point is like he could be one of those rare tight ends where the passing offense goes through him.
Yep, and I probably trust Brian Daboll as much as any coach in the league to maximize the talent on his roster because he's also a guy who's not just like, all right, well, we've got Saquon Barkley, so we're just going to run Saquon Barkley 25 times. Like in their last meaningful game of the season, I think Saquon had like 7-9 carries or whatever against the Colts, and they decided they were going to run Daniel Jones. Like they do the smartest thing and they do the best thing, and Waller is probably the most talented pass catcher they have. So no, I think that he's got huge potential.
And also, by the way, they went out and got him.
Yeah.
Like it's a new regime in New York. Last year was their first year. A lot of the guys they inherited, but this is somebody they went out and got. They specifically targeted and they went out and got.
So in front of Waller was Kelce, Andrews, Hockenson, Kittle. No surprise there. Right after him at 6, Dallas Goedert, Pat Freiermuth at 7, Kyle Pitts at 8, 9 was Evan Ingram, 10 was Dalton Schultz. Was there any temptation to try to sneak Dalton Kincaid in here?
Yeah, but I mean the ADP on Dalton Kincaid, especially for people that are doing like best ball drafts,
Getting
is like
insane.
So, you know, like looked at it, but I couldn't justify it. Like, wouldn't shock me if at the end of the year he winds up in the top 10, but hard for me to rank him there. I will say Kyle Pitts. I know people probably see Kyle Pitts on that list and they roll their eyes, but the fact is that he still had a 27% target share last year. It didn't turn into production. You know, touchdowns were still hard to come by for Kyle Pitts. It was a very, to be kind, inconsistent passing attack. But hopefully, whether it's Desmond Ridder or Taylor Heineke, like that's to me what gives you confidence here is again that Arthur Smith will hopefully design plays to get him the ball. Again, I mean, no tight end had a higher target share than Kyle Pitts, 27%. Adding Bijan Robinson, so now there's another weapon for defensive coordinators to worry about. And if Desmond Ridder is not up to the job, here comes Taylor Heineke. And we can debate whether or not you could actually win an NFL, game with Taylor Heineke, whether he's like a quote, starting caliber NFL quarterback. But we have seen players have very productive fantasy seasons under Taylor Heineke, Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas for moments in Washington as well. Heineke is good enough to get the ball to Kyle Pitts is the point.
He also just throws the ball, which Marcus Mariota often just never did.
Right.
So I think that, that helps Pitts' ceiling and floor.
Yeah, there'll be a short leash on Ridder. Like, if he's not getting the job done, they will turn to Heineke.
Let's quickly read out some of the guys who finished top 10 in PPR scoring among tight ends last season. Tyler Higbee, he was 6th. Cole Kmet was 8th. Taysom Hill was 9th.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that the state of the position looks a little bit better, particularly if someone like Kyle Pitts is going 8th, whereas he was going 3rd last season behind just Kelce and Andrews.
You asked me about Dalton Kincaid. I'll tell you two guys that I do think are really interesting sort of sleepers at the tight end position. One of whom is who you just mentioned there in Cole Kmet. And the other one I'll just say is, like, we had fun with it towards the end of last year, but my guy, Chig Okonkwo.
Okay.
I'm telling you, Chig Okonkwo can play.
Wow, okay.
And they don't, other than Treylon Burks, they don't have anyone in Tennessee that's going to demand targets.
Yep.
Yeah, like, my guy Chig.
Yeah.
Come on now.
All right.
Chig Okonkwo.
You just like
Am I
saying
wrong,
his
Connor?
name.
I do.
No,
it took me a while to learn how to say it, so like I want to brag.
Yeah.
It's all
If
humble
Dalton
brag.
Schultz was named TJ Congo, we just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Dalton Schultz a lot more.
No, I'm bear hugging him in Dynasty.
Yeah.
Seriously.
1,000%.
He was a good
Chiggy.
buy low last
Yeah,
year.
get Chiggy with it.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and RotoWorld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, okay? Respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from RotoWorld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.